let's talk about him. Let's talk about Allmendinger being teammates now. Do you think Kaulig has a chance to run the table and sweep the Xfinity Series road course races next season, considering who's going to be in two of their cars full time?
Absolutely high chance that can happen. But there's also a high chance that they'll end up running into each other at somewhere like Glen or Sonoma or somewhere. You can imagine them both going for the win at Sonoma and ended up in the tyre barrier at the last corner at the hairpin. So I don't know. Highly likely, he'll learn a lot from AJ. I feel like, in terms of how to set the cars up on the road courses and stuff like that. Because of course he's not been in an Xfinity car yet so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Matthew again says, I would like to see him as short track and Darlington in place of two road courses. But as you mentioned, Ben, Kaulig likes trophy hunting. If that's the goal, just winning, then yeah, it's absolutely perfect. As I said, and Adam made the point before with his comment, just random and bizarre to see him at Talladega in the Cup race. For instance, he's obviously on the Xfinity. He's going to run the Xfinity races there as well. But it's going to be he's going to be hanging out the back, trying not to lose the draft. I feel like.
I remember when Jacques Villeneuve came over to run a handful of starts with Bill Davis Racing, and I think Toyota really struggled in Cup their first year in 2007, so they put all their cars in qualifying trim, so that they could run the top speed possible. And Michael Waltrip won the pole for the fall race, I think, and I think Villeneuve qualified sixth, and he was being interviewed on ESPN's pre-race studio show before the race, and he mentioned, just completely on his own before the race, we'll drop to the back of the pack because we don't need to be starting in row 3 with absolutely no experience during the chase for the Cup and messing anything like that up. So I'm sure SVG, is going to be reasonable and sensible and not try to make any bold or brash moves there to mess anybody's race up. And he's going to use it as a learning experience. And again, Matthew's saying, maybe the goal is full-time Cup in 25. We'll see how he does this year in Xfinity. And if he goes out and he's going to be eligible for a championship, I don't know if he's going to be able to win it with his lack of oval experience, but you never know with how many road courses there are these days, how many playoff points could he rack up? He's going to be in the mix for that, I think. So we'll see how he does. And one more comment from Joe here. I was thinking the same, Matt. Portland is where AJ won when we were out there in 2022. So maybe SVG and AJ for the front row there. That's going to be interesting. How are the commentators going to, you're talking about Kaulig Racing back and forth. You're going to have to say Allmendinger and Van Gisbergen so much this season. That's going to be quite a mouthful. I think they might just go with AJ and SVG or something like that.
Good luck to Adam Alexander and Rick Allen through the year on trying not to combobulate those two while they're battling out for a victory. One thing that sprung to mind for me was back to 2015 when SVG came over and did the Rolex 24 with a car that had a WeatherTech down the side of it, and he got on the podium that day in a Porsche. So he has WeatherTech, already part of his American history back, 7 or 8 years ago now. So the car looks cool. I just want to see some merch, please.